Welcome to the Community Awareness TV show, brought to you by Crystal Film Productions in connections with Kingdom Coalition Ministerial Alliance. I am your host, Pete Marrero. We have a great show for you today and a great guest, so stay tuned, hold on, and we'll be right back.
Poverty, based on true stories. Hunger doesn't sleep. There's no glamour in it. It gets everyone. It creates gaps in society. You just can't stop it. Some people are luckier than others. With hunger, there's no easy way out. Some were born unlucky. Others became unfortunate. UNICEF estimates half the world's children, more than 1 billion kids, are already poor. If you want to make the world a better place, donate today. Visit internationaloutreachrelief.net.
Welcome back to Community Awareness TV show. We have a great guest today with us today. He's actually a lieutenant from the Lee County Sheriff's Department, and he's our special guest today. Welcome, Lieutenant Larry King. God bless you, sir, because he's also a great man of God.
Amen.
Amen. Welcome to our show, Lieutenant. I want you to, before we get into anything else, I want you to speak to our viewers and let them know who you are, how long you've been here, family, and also let them know about your faith, Lieutenant.
Sure, absolutely.
One of the things we implement here on this show is our faith, because with God, everything is possible. Lieutenant King.
Hey, thank you very much. Glad to be here. I actually am a member of the Sheriff's Office now for about 21 years. I started in the Crime Prevention Unit back in 1994 as a civilian. Later got chosen to be the Public Information Officer and then certified as a law enforcement officer. I've been through the ranks. 16 of my years at the Sheriff's Office was spent in the Public Information Office being the spokesperson. And then as our community grew, we saw that particular unit grow and now have 5 people in that unit full time.
Oh, great.
About a year ago, the sheriff asked me to become the executive director for the Sheriff's Youth Activities League, and that's my current assignment. Prior to being in law enforcement and with the Sheriff's Office, I spent about 18 years altogether in the broadcast industry. With a name like Larry King.
Great, yes, yes.
Actually being born with that name. So I spent a lot of time mostly in radio broadcasting, primarily in this Lee County area over the years.
Good.
And then, of course, had the opportunity to give my life to Jesus many years ago.
Praise God.
1987, I can remember the day, and the preacher was an evangelist that visited the church I was going to up in North Fort Myers at the time.
Great.
So, been a devoted Christian since then. Been able to enjoy the faith with a lot of different denominations.
Yes.
As an actor of sorts, doing different types of things at McGregor Baptist, did them at a Nazarene Church, and of course First Assembly of God over the years. So just a great believer and love the Lord and love being here.
Great. Well, that's wonderful news. I'm glad to hear that, especially in the days we live in today. As you know, Lieutenant, that many people shy away sometimes from declaring who they are or what they are, because we live in a funny world now. But I just thank God that we have great men like you that represent not only the Lord, but represent such a great department, which is the Sheriff's Department. Do you have a family? So I want to know about your family, if you have any kids, grandkids.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about them.
My wife is, again, probably the impetus that led me to the Lord and such, because she's a lifetime believer.
That's great.
We met back in 1985 and had a quick romance and married, and she had a daughter, Erin, and my wife Peggy. We lived in North Fort Myers, and then my daughter ended up getting married and She has 3 children, so we have 3 grandchildren.
Oh,
The pride of our life. They range in age from 13 years old to 21, and they, as we talk about some of the things that are part of our topic today,
Yes.
They've been involved in some of those programs and such
Good.
that themselves. So a great opportunity to have them involved, and again, kind of show you, because again, your program is a community awareness type
Yes.
program, how important family life is in relation to what we do is in law enforcement, what we do in outreach to youth, and again, trying to be a part of the community. People often put law enforcement in that light of being hands-off distance or at hand's length. We really need to be a part of the community, and we are ourselves community members when we're not on duty. So I think that goes a long way to making the relationships that we have in this particular area better than they are in other parts of the country, as we're seeing on television week after week now.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because I am a firm believer that our community starts in the home. If we're not able to reach our home, it's that much difficult to reach the community outside. Well, on that note, Lieutenant, I wanted to go right into to speak on the program that you are the director of, and we'll get into other areas of what the Sheriff's Department is doing to reach our community. But specifically, I wanted to ask you, as you go into the youth activity that you do, what motivates you, or what is your passion to directly work in that field and in that area?
Well, we know that if we can get children active in activities, whether it be sports or whether it be other types of activities or interests, that they're going to become more productive adults. It also gives them something as an alternative to the negative things that we see out there, to the attraction of crime or gangs or such. So we know it's very important to do that, and that's really what the Sheriff's Youth Activities League is about. Again, we call it SAL. It rhymes with PAL, and of course everybody's very familiar with the police athletic leagues. And again, those are mostly athletic type programs and such, but we emphasize activities and the youth, so that we not only have sporting activities, but we also have programs such as, we support a culinary arts program. We have the Teen Driver Challenge and other things like that are very, very much important to provide as alternatives. We have a teen dance night in Lehigh Acres. Things that we support that we think, again, provide that positive alternative for youth.
I want you to, if there's a young person hearing us right now and they want to call and get involved, who would they call, what number, or is there a website?
Well, we have a variety, because we partner. I mean, again, that's really part of getting the community together is that partnership aspect of it. So Lee County Parks and Recreation is one of our very important partners here in the Tice community, as well as out in Lehigh Acres. We're moving toward North Fort Myers. Then with the YMCA's, we have a program down in Bonita Springs that's very, very successful. And then the Fort Myers YMCA, we've had an archery program there in the past, and we're trying to get a coach to pick that program back up and get it running again.
What ages does it start from?
The ages are primarily 7 to 17.
Okay.
And again, it depends on the type of program or activity that we're working on. Teen dance, again, is intended to be teens. Teen driver for teens. But the archery programs, basketball, we pick those kids up around 7 years old and take them on through.
Now, the teen dance, is that an event done yearly? Is it coming up? Is it first time?
Teen dance has been going on out at the Veterans Park Community Center for a number of years. We started that program a long time ago, and then it's evolved again with partners. We provide the music, basically. We make sure that they have a DJ there, but they've got other activities other than just teen dancing. They can play basketball. They have a gaming area where the kids can play computer games and such like that. So there's a lot of alternatives. It's on a Friday night. It's the third Friday night of the month. And it starts at 7 o'clock and runs for a couple hours out there. You can find that information, of course, on our website or on our Facebook page, as well as, of course, Parks and Recreation has that information available.
Great. Hold on. We'll be right back.
Poverty, based on true stories. Hunger doesn't sleep. There's no glamour in it. It gets everyone. It creates gaps in society. You just can't stop it. Some people are luckier than others. With hunger, there's no easy way out. Some were born unlucky. Others became unfortunate. UNICEF estimates half the world's children, more than 1 billion kids, are already poor. If you want to make the world a better place, donate today. Visit internationaloutreachrelief.net.
TV show. Well, Lieutenant, to continue our conversation, can you mention once again the website, the email, and the phone number?
The Sheriff's Youth Activities League website is that, www.sheriffsyouthactivitiesleague.com.
Great.
And then we also have a Facebook page. It's www.facebook.lcsyal. So
Great.
County Sal.
Yes,
and that's the contact. If they need to contact me directly, my phone number is 258-3285, 258-3285.
Can you say that one more time, Lieutenant?
258-3285. That's my office. That's my direct line. And if I'm not there, voicemail will pick up.
We want to give community information. We want to let our viewers know what are the different organizations in our area and community leaders doing to reach out to our youth and children, not only through games and sports. Mm-hmm. We know that media portrays sometimes crime and things going wrong around the world to a level of where people live in fear.
Right.
And here, as a local resident of Lehigh and Lee County, I hear many people talking sometimes, oh, I'm afraid to go out of my house, I'm afraid to do this, because the crime is so bad.
Right.
Our purpose of having you here today, sir, is we want you to let our viewers know it's not as bad as it is, or is it as bad as they portray?
I think perception makes it sound like it's a lot worse than it really is. Mm-hmm. We've been very fortunate to keep crime at a level where it's not increasing; it's steadily decreasing, and particularly with youth, we have a program or a facility known as the Juvenile Assessment Center, which is where, again, those that do get arrested are sent to and processed, and that's where they receive services or have services made available to them, made available to parents. And because of that, we can sometimes stop that negative pattern that that youth has entered. They're very, very successful. Again, it takes a lot of different partners, SWAFIS, different organizations, depending on the type of crime, the type of individual that we're dealing with. So through that, we're able to, make sure that services are available to the community and to the individuals. I think, again, with crime overall, there is that sense, and I know, having lived here, since 1977, I know that, as our community grew, we saw, crime grow, but steadily across the state and everywhere, it's reducing. Now, we're not in that environment anymore of where we're going to leave our doors open and just invite people in. You have to be wise and conscientious about, security and taking care. But, I'll go back to my crime prevention days of you being the eyes and ears of the community.
Yes, sir.
You know your community, who belongs, who doesn't, and it's very important that that line of communication be open. And I know that there are some cultures where there's that lack of trust for law enforcement, and we might have a pocket of individuals that are anti-police and such like that. We just don't have it like other communities, and I think it's because our community leaders and ourselves try to welcome you in, and not be afraid to contact us. Don't think you're bothering us.
Right.
You know, if there's something that seems suspicious or out of the ordinary, by all means call. Don't be afraid to call.
How is your connection? I'm curious, as a minister myself, how is your connection or your repertoire with clergy and other, whether it doesn't matter what religion or denomination, how is the unity with the Sheriff's Department and the Police Department?
I think it's very good. I mean, over the years I've seen it, you know, working personally with different pastors and different groups. A perfect example, last year, you know, I do a teen driving program.
Okay.
Well, one of the private schools in the area, a Christian-based school, you know, couldn't offer driver's education anymore, so they wanted us to come in, and we created a session that was just for their driving age students. So that we came in, did their program, they came out and did the driving portion of the program and such. It was very, very successful. So we're there to do it. Sometimes it takes you making the first step and reaching out to us and saying that. But by the same token, we have crime prevention practitioners and different facets of each patrol district and such that will come out to you and work with you, do security surveys. If there is a uptick in crime, they can address that, and we have to work with you in order to be able to thwart any increase that might be happening, whether it's just a sudden spurt of burglaries or something in your community. Okay. We'll work together, and we want you to. We want to be reachable.
Right. I'm curious about. Well, we all know what's happening in the news, like with Baltimore and things like that. Where I do know sometimes things are exaggerated and blown out of proportion. Is there a specific program where our police officers are trained? I don't know if it's the proper word, but I'll just throw out, like in proper customer service, because a lot of people I hear, they say, well, they don't know how to treat us, they talk to us rude, you know, not everyone is a criminal. Can you let our viewers know if there's something that the department is doing either to make that better, or what is going on to bring that confidence with the community?
If you will, there's an evolution that's always going on in law enforcement. I mean, you know, if you were a law enforcement officer 30, 40 years ago, the culture and everything has completely changed. And those that were in that culture back then are saying, I couldn't be a law enforcement officer today because of all the restrictions and all the attention that you get from the media and such like that. And it's unfortunate that sometimes, you know, the one bad apple or whatever, you know, makes the agency look, makes the whole profession look bad. There's always, I mean, we're no different than large corporations. I've worked for large corporations. I've worked for mom and pop operations. I've worked for myself. There's always going to be, you know, that disarray and somebody trying to make more out of it than there really is. But by the same token, those people are there because they really care. Understand that, we come off very strict, and part of it's our experience, part of it is individual demeanor. But yes, we do a lot of training with regard to how to deal with people. And I think you see that a little bit more so with the advent of technology with cameras and such.
Exactly.
There's two sides to that story as well. But that does make the officer accountable, but it also makes the person accountable. And the experiences I've had so far with cameras is when you play the camera back and the person sees how they were as versus how they are now, then they realize, oh, wait a second, I was a little bit out of control, and I can see where the officer had to handle it that form and fashion. We deal with so much people that aren't telling us the whole truth or such. Even good people will sometimes smudge a little bit. It's easy to become apathetic, but our officers, by and large, are very, very community-oriented, very much person-oriented. If you have a complaint about an officer, that's why we have an internal affairs, and our agency and Sheriff Scott have proven year after year after year that we'll make our officers accountable if there's something that's disrespectful or inappropriate. Everything from, you know, whether it be discipline or being termination. So I think if there's criticism out there, we welcome the criticism. We have an open dialogue. Want people to understand that we're out there trying to do a job, and most importantly, it's serving the community.
Right.
We're not the customer service person behind the desk. We're actually out there in the community, doing our very best to provide the service that we're supposed to.
And are the majority of our officers empathetic to the
I would say so.
emotions of the people and the needs?
Well, we definitely, we know that, even a traffic stop, just a simple traffic ticket we have the range of emotions from someone crying to somebody being very, very angry. We have to keep a level head and an understanding of, and a lot of it has to do with being able to articulate or talk to people, and that's a very, very important skill that we try to teach our officers.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you just said that, because that's actually, I was going there to my next question, is in regards to conversational relations. And no one is perfect. None of us have wings on our shoulders. I know that. But many people say, well, they should know how to talk to us, because a lot of, and it's not just here, it's just all over. I don't want anyone to think that we're talking just about our departments here, because I truly respect the Sheriff's Department and our Fort Myers Police Department. I think they do a great job. And when we come back, I want to get into that a little bit, Lieutenant King, and then we'll go from there. Sit tight, we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Community Awareness TV show. Because of what the media shows in regards to Baltimore and other things that are happening around, they say, oh, if that ever happens here, we'll do this, we'll do that. You know how young people talk. Are our police personnel, sheriff personnel, are they ready if something like that was to break out?
Oh, absolutely. I think if we look at our past history, the large march that we had here years ago, where we had to activate people in riot gear and everything else, just to be as a preparation. Not to say that the marchers were going to get out of hand or anything like that, but in preparation for anybody that might come and try to instigate type of situation. And we were able to, just in a few days, get coordinated with other law enforcement as well as ourselves, and be prepared for any type of eventuality. And of course, as expected, nothing happened. And I really continue to feel that our community has such a good relationship with community leaders, and with the government, that we can handle any type of situation that might occur. But I don't think that we have a climate that's likely to turn into that. But anything can happen.
Okay. Also, I wanted to ask, how is your relationship? Because sometimes, because even though it's all one city, one government, but sometimes there's always this, I would say sometimes hindrance to try to do something. Does the Sheriff's Department have a great relationship with our city officials and government, that when you try to implement programs, do they support you?
Sure.
100%?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Again, we're not trying to push whether it be law enforcement or another agency around or anything like that. We're simply here trying to work together amongst everyone. We work very hard with those relationships. Again, to use the past as an example, when there was a need for school resource officers in all the schools, and the police departments were having some difficulty with getting to an agreement, the sheriff stepped up, and as a result, it's worked out well, I think, for everybody. Great. So that we have coverage in the schools, and we're if we need Fort Myers Police to come to the Dunbar School, they're there in a second, and we all work very well together. And same way with just within government structure themselves, with the mayor's office or city council people and such.
Great.
So I think it's very good.
Okay. Our show, Community Awareness TV show, we would use our media, our show, to always implement a positive outlook on things. We want to work in unity with our police, our sheriff, for the better good. We want to let everyone know that we can do better. We can improve our communities. That it's not all what you see. It's not all bad. There is good. There is kindness in people. I believe truly that it should be one of our main characters. Treat others as you would like to be treated. You yourself are a man that serves God above everything else, family, country, and community. Before we go, I just wanted you to emphasize once again on the program, and mention again the website and the information where our young people can go, even young adults. If you want to get involved, if they want to come in, I'm sure you accept volunteers. Let them know again where they can call and how they can do it.
Sure, absolutely. Just give me a call at 258-3285. That's my extension, 258-3285. If you have an interest in becoming a volunteer, our agency has a voice group that does some great things, again, volunteering in our community. You talk about reaching out, and we welcome that and want that.
Yes, sir.
And you would be one of the first that we would call to get a message out if things were on the
Yes, sir.
on the bad, on the negative side.
Yes.
But again, we're here to serve people. Check out our website, www.Lee County Sheriff's youthactivitiesleague.com.
Great. Like I said, I'm so glad. We want to, again, I keep emphasizing, it may sound like a broken record, but I can't get that message enough out there that in unity there is strength. When we try to work as individuals, the struggle is that much more difficult. But if we work together, we don't have to be afraid. Don't have to live in fear. There are good people out here. There are good policemen and policewomen. There are good government officials. Not everyone is evil. Not everyone is corrupt. And I say that because that's the world we live in, Lieutenant King.
That's right.
We want to let everyone that we want to do something positive to change our neighborhoods. To the ministers that are hearing this program, invite our sheriff, invite our Fort Myers Police Department. Let them come into your church and be part of your fellowship and of your service so that your community of believers can know that they're just like them. And Lieutenant King, is there a message that you want to tell our viewers personally, coming from your
Sure.
heart?
And I understand that I'm not just the one person. There are Christians and men of faith, women of faith with the agency that are in your midst, and reach out to them, listen to them. They do have a different perspective on life. If you're encountering law enforcement out there, understand that we're there to do a job. We're not there to judge or to condemn. We're there strictly to perform the job function, determine if there's laws that have been broken, if somebody needs to go to jail, or if we can settle a community dispute, then that's what we're there to do, to make sure that there's peace in the community. Most of our job is just talking with people, getting along with people, and we don't want you to be afraid of us. We're not afraid of you. We're there to work together with you. And again, if you ever have any questions or such, if it's patrol related, each area of the county has a patrol district captain that's very much involved in the community. Would love to talk and reach out to you and vice versa. So by all means, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to call the Sheriff's Office, 477-1000. 911 in emergencies, and realize that we're there by the grace of God to help you, and there are, again, a lot of men and women of faith in there, so by all means, welcome them in.
Great. Thank you once again, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
God bless you, sir, and look forward to having you once again on our show.
I'd love to do it.